Alright, hey YouTube. So today I am going to be making kind of like a little bit of a different video. I've never really shared my personal story with my blog on YouTube before. I have spent so many years of my life blogging and it's basically become my career now. So it's how I'm able to not work very much and work mainly from home, hopefully eventually only work from home, which is the ultimate goal. But as a small, I guess, blogger, I would like to share with you guys how I make my income, where I started from. This is gonna be kind of like a general overview video, so I'm not gonna go into like crazy amounts of detail, but if you guys like this video or are interested, I am totally happy with making more videos on each topic and how I started making income through each, I guess, source. To begin with, basically what happened was maybe 10 years ago now. It's crazy to say that because I'm 24. So it's about maybe 9 years ago now, yeah, that I decided that I was going to start a blog. This was just completely for fun. I just started getting into weightlifting and baking, and I thought making high protein recipes was really fun. So I was like, I just wanted to share it with people. So I signed up for WordPress, which is a blogging platform. Many of you probably know what it is. At the time, it was free, the one I signed up for, because my website was originally the name and then it was wordpress.com because I didn't actually own the domain, if that makes sense. So I started blogging there. I wrote recipes pretty much daily. I loved posting them, but a lot didn't go into my posts. It was mainly just me kind of like blabbering on and being like, oh, so I made this today, and then I would just post like this potato quality photo, and then that would be it. And or the worst part was when I would post and I would literally just post the picture of my Instagram caption where I wrote the recipe, because I wouldn't even like write it out again on the blog. I would just post a photo of the caption. So I was super lazy, basically. Fast forward a bit, my blog started gaining some traction, only because my Instagram also started gaining a lot of followers, just because I was competing at that time in bodybuilding, in the figure division. So I was in pretty good shape then, so a lot of people were interested in what I was eating, so they would go to my blog from my Instagram and then they would see these lovely recipes that I'd posted with terrible quality photos. But anyway, so my blog started getting quite a few views, and at the time I didn't know you can make money blogging. I just like thought it was fun to do. I continued to go to school. I went to school for food nutrition at Western University, basically graduated from there, and my ultimate goal was to go into becoming like a dietitian. But at the time, like partway through university, I switched over to kind of a keto diet. I don't know what caused me to. I guess I just found it really interesting. I started making keto recipes, and when I started doing that and I started posting them, this was kind of before the keto whole fad started. I hate to call it a fad because I love keto personally, but it was just starting to trend upwards. Like people were just starting to get interested in it. So my recipes started taking off pretty much right away. So I noticed a huge spike in the views on my blog, and it went from like, I don't even know, maybe like 100 to 500 views a month to like maybe a couple thousand views a month. So I was like, okay, this is a little crazy, but I thought it was cool, just kept posting recipes. And then it got to the point where I started researching more about blogging, and I came to find out that there was people making money blogging that had way fewer views than me per month. And I was like, what? I was like, how are they making this much money? Like what? And then I would compare their views, and like I would be making like have more than triple their views, and I wasn't making any money. So then I was like, what am I doing? Like I need to start making an income. So first thing I did was start an email list, which everyone will tell you that is like the biggest thing to do, like with your blog, is start an email list, which again, I'm still kind of terrible for using mine, but I'm learning, trying to get better with it. Anyway, so I created basically this little one post that explained like a keto grocery list basically of items for baking, and I said to view the page, you basically just had to input your email and sign up, and then you would get the access to the page. So using that tool, I was getting like 30 to 40 subscribers a day to my website, which was crazy to me. So that hugely like made a huge impact on my site, because then every time I posted now, everyone would get a notification that I posted, and it would be sent directly to their email, and then again, more people would view the post, which was amazing. So that was a great starting point, but I still really wasn't making money. So from there on, I started looking into advertising. And at first I was just using WordPress platform ads that you could just like put on your blog. First off, just don't bother with that. It was not worth it to me. I made hardly any money. Like, it was just ridiculous, and I would not go back to using that ever. Scratched all that. Also, during this time period, kind of failed to mention this, I moved my blog from being WordPress, like my website plus WordPress.com, to just being like mywebsitename.com, which was mouthwateringmotivation.com. So that's the original name I stuck with. I bought the domain. I didn't end up getting other hosting. I don't know if that makes sense to people, but I like stayed on the WordPress platform. So I don't have a WordPress.org site. It's .com still. I don't know if I'll change that potentially in the future. But anyways, I bought their business plan, which is like the highest plan I believe that you can buy. Which means that I could put other ads on my site. I could like really customize my site, just do so much more than you could do with the basic platform. And then of course I own my domain. So I did that, and this is when I started applying for different ad companies outside of WordPress. One of them being Google Ads. Google Ads, just for some reason for me, never worked out. Like, I know for so many people, they love it, it's great. But for me, it was such a hassle. I don't know what went wrong, but every time I would apply for it, you'd have to wait a while to get like a letter in the mail, and then they would give you like this code to type in to sign up for it and all this stuff. But I always had issues, and it just like never worked for me. So I got really frustrated with it and ended up just completely like scratching that, being like, whatever, I'll figure it out one day. But for now, I'm gonna try moving on to other options, which I did, and I'm really glad I did. So I started looking to different ad companies. I can't remember the names of the ones I started with. If I remember them, I will try and put them on the screen like somewhere in this video or down below, just so you guys know like my starting point. But I gotta say, I went through some pretty bad sites sometimes. Some of them paid me basically nothing for what they were putting on my site. A lot of the time too, like I'd get ads that I didn't want on my site. At one point I had people complaining because I had porn ads on my site. That was the worst ever. I immediately scratched that company, was like never working with them again, because I specifically said no like ads in that category. So I went with a bunch of different companies. The only thing I found with every company is that I always had to do everything myself. Like I had to pick where the ads were gonna go, I had to pick the size of the ad, and it was kind of like frustrating, especially for someone like me. Like I was a beginner with all this stuff. I was not good with everything. I was self-taught with everything. I learned everything off YouTube for my blog. So when it came to this, I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. But eventually I came across a platform called Mediavine, which was my holy grail. Like, oh my God. So Mediavine is another advertising company, but it's so different from any other company you could ever imagine. Basically, what they do is they have like a screening process, so you can't just sign up and work with them. So if you're a smaller website, you probably won't be able to work with them until you get yourself kind of some more views over time. But for me, I was lucky enough to have a huge, basically, audience already, so it worked out perfectly for me. I had met their criteria for a number of sessions, which they don't go by page views, they go by sessions. You can look more into what sessions are, or I can explain it in another video if you're interested. But yeah, basically that's their criteria for accepting you, and then also like they're gonna look at your site and other things as well. But that was the main one. So I waited for a while. I think it was like a few months, not gonna lie, and eventually I got like a notification that I was accepted, and This was like the best day of my life. I was so excited because I had heard Mediavine, you get paid like almost like triple what other companies will pay you, just because their way of paying you is just so much smarter, and they're just such a great company. I can't say anything like bad about them. I love them. So anyways, I got accepted, but the only thing is they didn't pay out until I think like 3 months after I was working with them, which was a little frustrating, but I mean, I was totally fine with it at the time. This was also like at a high point with my blog. It was doing like so good at that time. I think I was getting like 15, sometimes 20,000 views a day, which was just crazy to me. So the payments were very nice at first. It was my first month with Mediavine. I think I made, well, not even month, sorry. My first like day with Mediavine, I made like $150 in a day. I was like, I'm sorry, is this correct? And I'm Canadian as well, and this was in US dollars. I was just like in shock at the time. And this was me coming from making like, I think $5 in a month, like $5 in a month. So the difference was just insane, absolutely insane. So I was super excited, and I continued to work with them, and yeah, it's been great since then. No issues. Occasionally my ads will go down. Usually it's my own fault for adding some sort of plugin that I shouldn't have, and it doesn't work with the ads. But other than that, totally great. Also, best part is that they put the ads on your site for you. Like, you don't have to organize them. They put them in like the best spots for you. You just have to kind of make sure your content is optimized for the ads, which again, I could always talk about in another video. But yeah, they do everything for you, which is amazing, and it's super easy and simple, and they have great feedback. They'll always respond to you like within a day or so. They're great. Worked with Mediavine, was doing really well with them. Also around this time, I started with Amazon Associates, or Amazon Affiliates, whatever you want to call it. So I started doing affiliate links, and affiliate links are basically just like a link you put to a product that's in your post. You link it to Amazon. So like if I was talking about like this muffin pan that I was using and you could buy it on Amazon, I would just put a link using my code for that muffin pan on my site, and you click on it and then it'll take you to Amazon and you can buy that muffin pan. Yeah, simple as that. But you can also buy anything on the site within 24 hours, not just being that muffin pan, and I will get commission from it as long as you use my link originally, if that makes sense. So I started adding affiliate links to my posts. At first they were super random, like I don't know what I was doing with them. I would just kind of like put them wherever and it was not great. I think again I made like $5 my first month with Amazon Associates, but then I started learning how to kind of like talk about them more in my posts. You can't just like throw a link in there, like people kind of have to trust you. So I started kind of like discussing like why I use this ingredient, like why it's in this recipe, and then I would also have it in the ingredient links and then the notes below. And it went from, sorry, I'm just looking at my numbers here, basically being $5 in a month to fast forward to maybe like March 2019. So this was starting from February 1st, 2017 to March 30th, 2019. March 1st, I made $1,318.86 that month, US dollars for Amazon affiliate links. And that's from just having like a couple little links in each post. So that was like an extra income on top of my Mediavine income, which was just amazing. So at that time, I was probably making over $6,000 a month, which was just outrageous to me. And it continued that way for a while, although you kind of have to realize with the advertising company and with just the internet in general, there is going to be spikes and there's going to be lows in your payments based on like seasons and things like that. Like advertisers pay more in like December than they do in January, just how it goes. So I was at a high point at that time. I was just lucky, and I also had some viral posts going on, so that's why I was being paid so much. But on average now I probably make just over $3,000 a month, but again, it varies every month. I could have a really good month or I could have a slightly lower month, so you just kind of have to think of it that way. Yeah, overall it's like relatively consistent. And my main traffic source, for anyone wondering, is and has been for a long time, Pinterest. Pinterest is one of those things I feel like is so underrated for traffic. It is absolutely insane what you can get from Pinterest if you just take the time to really focus on building your Pinterest account. When I started my blog, my Pinterest was at 0 followers, 0 views. I just made my Pinterest account, and within a year I was at 2 million Pinterest monthly viewers. So it really makes a difference if you know what you're doing, and I can always share with you in a video what I did on my Pinterest account to get it to where it was, because I feel like I did a super smart technique my first year. I kind of learned it from a few different posts that I read online, and I kind of made it my own, and now I feel like I have some really good Pinterest tactics to getting your views to basically go viral, or just for you to get seen on Pinterest in general, because a lot of my recipes used to end up on the front page of Pinterest for like keto recipes and things like that all the time. It was amazing. So Pinterest, amazing tool. The other big tool is SEO, which a lot of people will talk about, which is search engine optimization. And not gonna lie, I am horrible for this. My first few years blogging, first few years seriously blogging, I never even looked into SEO, didn't even know what it was. Didn't care enough about it, thought it was too complicated, so I just ignored it. Basically, it's how you rank in Google and like how people see you on Google when they search like keto pancakes. Like my pancake recipe should come up on the front page, but because I wasn't doing SEO properly, it wasn't. So I really kind of let myself down in that department, so I did rely on Pinterest a lot, and I think that's why my monthly payments and things like that were so up and down all the time, because Pinterest isn't super consistent, whereas SEO is, so, or at least more consistent. So I highly suggest you looking into SEO when you first start your blog. Even if it sounds complicated, it's not actually that bad. It's just filling out little things on each post and making sure like the proper information is there. And I've been doing that now, and I do notice a difference. It does take a really long time to show a big difference with SEO, but it is so worth it in the long run. Okay, so yeah, what I'm working on now is still SEO, and continuing to work on my Pinterest. I also have noticed that Facebook is a great advertising place as well. I often post in Facebook groups related to keto or on Reddit related to keto. Those are some great traffic sources too. The only thing is I find those ones are more like they go up right away, things get really popular, but then it immediately goes down. It's not like a consistent source unless you're doing like Facebook advertising. So again, I would say Pinterest and SEO are my 2 main traffic sources over everything. Even my Instagram, which hardly gets me any views, so I don't really bother with that too much. So yeah, that is how I've gotten to making what I make now. I've also started to do sponsored posts, and I've created an ebook on my site, which is something you can purchase. It's just a one-time purchase, and it's super cheap, but it's just a little added bonus to each month for me. And it's really helpful to my regular subscribers or followers, because it basically just shares everything that I do to create all my recipes. So I mean, the ebook, and then also sponsor posts are something that I can talk more about in other videos, because they're something I've done more recently, but they are, especially sponsor posts, something very big and impactful to your income. And if you know how to reach out to people properly and ask to do sponsor posts, that's another huge thing. It's really important to learn how to do that. So anyways, hope you guys found this interesting. This was a lot of talking for me. Hopefully it wasn't too blabbery, but let me know if you want more videos about blogging, and if you're interested in more about affiliate marketing or SEO or Pinterest or ad companies, how to like find ad companies when you're a smaller blogger, any of that stuff, let me know, because I love answering questions and talking with you guys. So yeah, we'll see you in my next video, which may or may not be a cheat day or another blog video. So up to you guys. See you then. Bye.